Welcome, everyone. I'll just wait a few seconds so everybody can get connected. Okay, looks like most people are connected. Well, welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us for the candidate forum tonight. We will get started here in just a second. We are live streaming to Facebook and recording this meeting just so everybody is aware. If you guys have any questions for any of our candidates, please send them directly to me in the chat, and we will, if we have a chance at the end to get to them, we will do so. With that being said, I will hand it over to Hunter Burns, the chair of our legislative committee at the Chamber.
Thanks, Maddie. Welcome, everybody, and thank you for joining us tonight. We have a lot of candidates, and we want to give everybody an opportunity to speak. So I'll just give you a quick ground rules of how we're going to proceed. We will ask a question of all the members of the Board of Supervisors. I'll call out the name. We'll try to go in a different order the second time around, so the same person doesn't have to go twice, doesn't have to go first twice. We ask that you try to limit your answers to under 3 minutes, and that's because we have a lot of candidates and a short period of time to try to get to these. And at the end, after we go through a couple of questions, I will give every single person an opportunity to make a statement, again, trying to keep it to under 3 minutes of why you think you should be elected. So you can do your stump speech at that time. As Maddie already pointed out, for those that are watching and listening, if you have any questions that you'd specifically like asked, please send them in the chat to Maddie. If we do have time at the end, then we will ask a couple of those. But without further ado, I'd like to welcome Dr. Charles Miller, Jesse Barksdale, Ryland Brumfield, Gregory Robinson, Daryl Dalton, Joe Davis, and Timothy Cheshire, who are all candidates for the Board of Supervisors. And I'll give you the specific district when we get to that point. And from School Board, Raymond Ramsey, Calvin Bunky Doss, Jacob Hancock, Cassandra Crump, and Kelly Merrick. So thank you all for being here. I'm going to go ahead and move into the first question, which will be for the Board of Supervisors. I'll go ahead and tell you at the outset, I'll be starting with the Bannister District, moving to Callens Gretna, and then Dan River for this question. The question is, other than job creation, what do you believe is the single most important issue facing our region, and what will you do to address the issue? And I'll begin with the current board member, Dr. Charles Miller. And make sure that you're not muted. Maddie, do you have Dr. Miller anywhere? While she looks for Dr. Miller, I'm going to go ahead and move on to Jesse Barksdale, who is the former board member from Bannister District. Jesse, are you there? This might go a whole lot faster than we thought.
Okay, here, I'm here.
Ah, there.
Ready?
I hear Jesse.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Jesse, so let me repeat the question since it's been a while.
Okay.
Jesse, other than job creation, what do you believe is the single most important issue facing our region, and what will you do to address the issue?
All of my issues are priorities, but this question, I want to speak to it. I think that the county needs some planning. In my opinion, it seems that the county has focus on economic, but that is great, and we need that, and we have a great director doing that, but we have other priorities. Does the county know what or where the needs we are going? Are the communities are included in the conversations. When planning is on the agenda, I will ensure that planning will be inclusive in that end.
All right, thank you very much. And we will now move to the Callens-Gretna district, and we'll begin with Ryland Brumfield. Same question for you, Mr. Brumfield. Maddie, do you have Mr. Brumfield?
Don't
All right.
believe so.
Okay, we'll move on to Gregory Robinson then. Mr. Robinson, I know that you are here and that you need to leave today by 6:30. So let's ask you the same question.
Okay, thanks for having me on. So to address the question, first of all, let me say I agree wholeheartedly with Mr. Barksdale as far as planning is concerned. If you've read or seen any of my campaigned parts, you have noticed that I have heavily advocated for as a voice for the people. So let me say in regard to issues facing the county, the largest issue I believe is probably going to be the building of the new courthouse and the jail facility. And those are state mandated. The reason I think this is so important is there's not a lot of funding coming from federal and state. So we're going to have to address how then are we going to fund the building of these structures. The state says they have to be built. It's not an option, so it don't go before the citizens to vote whether or not to build. It has to be done. And in unison with what Mr. Barksdale is saying, then there must be some sort of planning other than just raise taxes. I will look for innovative ways to help fund these structures. Do I have the answers to that? No, not at this point. But I will say that there is information out there regarding the building of the structures, the cost, the bids, and all this sort of thing that I'm not privy to. So I can't answer the question specifically as to how I would build these or how I would fund these, but I think this is going to be a major issue in the next few years for us as a county.
Thank you. Mr. Dalton, I saw you earlier. It is now your turn. Same question. What is the top priority and how will you address it?
Thank you. First off, thank you all for having me and allowing me to speak to you. Can y'all see me and hear me fine? Because I couldn't get on my computer. I'm working off my cell phone.
We see you and hear you perfectly.
Right, good deal. And I'm sorry, go back and ask the question. What was it?
Sure. Other than job creation, what do you believe is the single most important issue facing our region, and what will you do to address that issue?
Well, I think right now, overall, for the whole, this COVID-19 has been a very, very, I wouldn't say important, but a issue with a lot of people. With the funding, and one of the most important things, we need to look at a way to be taking care of our citizens, their health and their welfare. And also we need to support, our local economy, look at our business and help them get through these bad times that we have been in. And that's one of the main things I'm looking at right now. And I understand there's a lot of other things we need to do. I want to control the taxes and the spending, make sure we're spending wise, and give the citizens the most for what they pay for.
Thank you.
All right.
We'll now move to the Dan River District. Mr. Joe Davis, the current board member, I'll ask you the same question.
Well, thank you guys for having me tonight. And I've enjoyed the answers thus far. And I want to give my congratulations to all that are entering the race, because I do thank you for the nerve and the strength to go into this. First and foremost, in my district, and I'm only speaking for my district, is that since the indoctrination as well as the new stimulus that we're going to have in Danville, Virginia, as far as the casino is concerned, that is going to raise, I am fearful, a situation with our law enforcement and security. And my main push today is public safety. And that is for our law enforcement. We believe that the security level is going to rise with the casino. And we're going to have to be, in my district, I know above all, well contained as well as prepared for the security of our people. And our school system, I have been a strong advocate for our schools since day one, since I've been on the Board of Supervisors. And so I think our number one priority right now is for public safety. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And we'll go to the other candidate for the Dan River District, Timothy Cheshire.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having this forum together, and I'm glad to be a participant in it. What I see as a big issue is our losing our youth. We talk about our tax base, we talk about our citizens, but in the last 10 years, I believe it was 4.9% of our population are leaving the county. And that would tie hand in hand with kids growing up, they're leaving. I actually have 2 children, they're both gone from the county. And if we don't stop the flow, I believe, of our next generation leaving, there won't be anything to have available. So I'd like to, with the coming businesses that are coming to our region, I would really like to see a change in that trend.
Thank you very much. We'll now move to the school board candidates, beginning in the Bannister District again. Raymond Ramsey, who is currently unopposed and is the current board member. Mr. Ramsey, the question that I have for you is very similar to the one that was just asked of the Board of Supervisors. What do you believe is the single most important issue facing the school system? And what will you do to address that issue? Mr. Ramsey? If you're here, please make sure that you're unmuted.
All right, I think I'm unmuted now. Can you hear me now? Okay, good.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for this opportunity to come and share with you in this forum this afternoon. And I feel like that one of the top priorities within our school division is that of public safety, to include the safety of our students and our staffs within the schools, the transportation, and all of that. And we know that it's a lot of questions and concerns evolved around the wearing of masks and whatnot. But in lieu of all of that, we feel like that is certainly an integral part of the safety. And so I would certainly say definitely we want to focus on continued safety of students and with the transportation issues and all of that. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. We'll now move to the Collins-Gretna District, and we'll first hear from Calvin Bunky Doss, who is the current board member for that district. Mr. Doss?
Okay, do you have my feed?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm gonna have to answer this kind of in a 2-part, because I think we have 2 critical issues right now facing us. One of them is more of a short-term issue in that we have a big learning gap now that we've the pandemic has caused for our students because they have missed so much time in front of the teachers. And it's been, public schools was designed to sit in the classroom. We were not designed to do it remote, and we're not good at it. So we've got a huge learning gap that we have got to make up for these students to get them where they need to be to graduate and go on to be successful in college or career. And with that, we must maintain and hire qualified teachers. There's a huge teacher shortage going on right now in the state and the nation, and getting qualified teachers is becoming very difficult. We're having we got positions now that we can't fill. I know that the city of Danville all around us has positions that are unfilled because there's just no applicants out there. So I think we're going to have to start looking at better ways to attract and retain the ones we have and attract new ones. So I think that's going to be critical for us going forward, is to get our education back on track for the students, and that includes having good teachers and qualified teachers. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now hear from Jacob Hancock, also a candidate for the Cowens-Gretna District. Mr. Hancock.
Hey, everyone. Thank you for having me on here tonight. I believe that we, amongst all of the issues that we're facing, there's an even bigger one where we're at this critical juncture in our country, one that heavily affects children, parents, teachers, and the entire education system. We've got to protect parental rights. This is probably one of the most important issues our school system will face in the coming year or years. When we've got the FBI investigating concerned parents at school board meetings for domestic terrorism, that's a frightening reality that the current president and his administration is actively pushing. There are currently governors and other counties across America who are mandating that children be forced to take part in an experiment, or they cannot be enrolled in school, not allowing for informed consent and preventing families from making educated decisions and putting them in a difficult place. And it even prevents families from making their decisions on their own. In an effort to be more politically correct, we as a society have allowed politicians and organizations to use tools and curriculum that introduce division, confusion, and chaos to children, or there may indeed be little to none at all. These are situations that we currently are facing or will face in the coming year. And I'm willing to take a stand to protect children, to protect teachers, and most importantly, to protect the God-given parental rights. I'm willing to help restore our curriculum and do whatever I can to ensure children receive a quality education, not one that is watered down with ideologies and biased politics. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll now move to the Dan River District and our current board member, Cassandra Crump. Ms. Crump.
All right. Thank you for having me this evening as well. I think our single most important issue that we're facing is our broadband access. The current pandemic kind of highlighted how much the lack of broadband access has affected not only our school division, but our families on so many levels. In 2019, I had an opportunity to be a part of a local team. We were looking at the healthcare needs of students. And one of the things that we looked at was several divisions and rural areas were using internet access to help obtain some of the services that were hard to obtain locally, such as mental health. And as we moved into the 2021 school year, we realized just how much more we needed to do in that area. I think the increase in online learning, parents needing to telework, telemedical visits, and all those things that folks would have access to if our broadband were expanded would greatly benefit our students as well as our families, and also even opening up opportunities for parents who have become somewhat savvy with technology as the need has presented itself. Those who are wanting to do higher education have that opportunity to participate in some virtual learning themselves. And when our parents are engaged in that way, it helps our students to be engaged in that way as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will now hear from Kelly Merricks, who is also a candidate for the Dan River District. Kelly? And Kelly, if you're there, make sure that you are not muted.
Good evening. Thanks for having me as well. One of the top priorities that I would like to focus on and I would think is very important in our district is the teacher staff retention, the morale, and the support. So much is being asked of our teachers now, and it's amazing what they can actually come up with. The time that they have to prep is very limited now. The teachers and staff, they must feel valued, supported, and appreciated so that the students can receive a quality, well-rounded education. And I would like to see leaders both at the central office and administrators in the school building taking roles seriously and be held accountable for their successes and failures of schools. Look at the teachers and the workloads that they are actually processing this school year. And it's more so, we were, as teachers, introduced in 2020 to virtual learning, to class learning where you're on a hybrid schedule. And now teachers have the students in front of them in the classroom, but then they're getting pulled because of quarantining issues or some suffering from COVID. And just what the teachers are being asked to do and the lack of planning, we need to really look at that and make sure that we can accommodate them so that our students are getting a well-rounded education.
Thank you very much. We'll now shift back to the Board of Supervisors. The question for the Board of Supervisors is, in response to the printed questions, and I'll go ahead and point out to everybody that is listening, we submitted printed questions for all the candidates and gave them an opportunity to respond in writing, which we have received, and everybody responded except for, I believe, Dr. Miller. And so the chamber will have those responses on the chamber website if you want to look at the printed responses. So in response to the printed questions, many made comments about, quote, wasteful spending, unquote, in the county. Do you believe the Board of Supervisors has wastefully spent? And if so, what spending will you target for reduction or elimination? I will begin in reverse order this time, beginning with Timothy Cheshire for the Dan River District. Mr. Cheshire?
Yes, sir. And you can go by Tim. It's a whole lot shorter than Timothy.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate it too. Anyway, as far as the wasteful spending, that was not something so much that I was looking at the time. As a worker in the community, I do see things that I think that you question and you don't know the answers to for some simple reason there hasn't been asked that question. Going forward, if I was to be elected, that would be something I would look at, like our family income, just like my income. I know there's areas that need attention, and yeah, there's times I probably do waste spending on something, but that would be something I would need to look at. And the biggest, I think, response would be from my constituents, listening to them, what's important to them, what do they think is wasteful, and then bringing it forward.
Thank you very much. I'll next move to, well, I'll stay in the Dan River District with Joe Davis.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I agree with Mr. Cheshire because you do have to listen to your constituents. The thing about wasteful spending, there was a time when there was wasteful spending, and it's too long to go into the dialogue because I only have 3 minutes and I like to keep it shorter than that. One thing is that we have to drive down cost. And the way you drive down cost is that those of us that have property in this county, I have been tired of the burden being placed at the property owner's feet. We have footed the bill on many increases because it's just like the budget in a home. You have gasoline prices that have increased. You also have food. You have, if you only eat, someone says eating high off the hog, you're going to pay to eat high just on the sow belly that you get off of the, and that means bacon. So increase in cost, we have to raise prices to cover the services and the goods in this county. When it comes to a trash fee, it costs $5 million to open and close a cell to accommodate all of the 64,000 constituents in Pittsylvania County's trash. And we didn't have those monies in place at former board operations. We had to put monies aside. We had no CIP in place. And so we've instituted a meals tax. That is for those who do not, that own property, they rent. The reason is we felt that we needed to pass on costs to other people that enjoy the services that we enjoy, that we as property owners have been paying for quite a while. And it's time to lower those costs to our citizens. So that's why we implemented the meals tax. Same thing with the occupancy tax. That is to pass on those costs to those transients that come in from time to time. We need to drive down costs through their contribution to our system in this county. Not to mention, we need motels, we need hotels, we need eating facilities to come to this county, because in the future, this county, I do see that it's going places because of future growth. Not only that, one of the things is right here in the Dan River District, I finished right here, we have 2 lots, lot 8 and 9, that are to be completed with industry. Lot 9 is being looked at by an industry. Lot 8, I don't know of anything at this time. When those 2 fill up, there is no more industry that can be accommodated in Ringgold, this district. I've done my job. And so that industry has to move up north. And that was not an easy job nor task to complete. That took much time and cohesion in the board members, not to mention the internet that I have fought for 5.5 years. And I was told by a former county administrator we would never get it. And I said, oh, really? I'll show you. And it took 5.5 years later to get internet here, fiber optic. And not only that, and I conclude here, we got a compactor site we put in Keelan. The first day I was on the board in the finance committee meeting, I was told we weren't going to get a compactor site there. And I told the chairman at the time, I said, oh, really? Oh, yes, we will. And I don't care where you get the money at, but you're going to put a compactor site on Mount Tabor Road for those that over there that have to lift up heavy furniture to put in a gondola when everyone else had compactor sites up north. So it's been a struggle all along, and it's a very thankless job, but I've enjoyed serving because I've served my district very well, truthfully, and I've answered every call. Thank you so kindly.
Thank you. I'm going to repeat the question before we move on to the Callens-Gretna district. In response to the printed questions, many made comments about wasteful spending in the county. Do you believe the Board of Supervisors has wastefully spent? And if so, what spending will you target for reduction or elimination? We'll begin with Darrell Dalton. Mr. Dalton. And please unmute if you're there. Okay, we'll move on to Mr. Robinson from the Callens-Gretna district. Do you need me to repeat the question?
No, I hear the question loud and clear. So I would respond to the question as I feel like there needs to be a forensic, not a local, but a forensic audit done of the landfill. Mr. Davis is touting the landfill and its service to the community or to the 60-some thousand citizens of Pittsylvania County. I echo that statement. However, our citizens would like to know, or at least the ones I'm in contact with in the Callens-Gretna district, why the citizens pay $41 a ton to dump their trash in Chatham at the landfill, while the out of state or out of county residents such as Martinsville are having their trash brought in, and Bedford having their trash brought in, they're paying $30 a ton. So although it is $500,000 to open and $500,000 to close a sale at the landfill, that may be true, but it's filling up twice as fast, bringing in trash from other parts of the state at a discounted rate. Should they get a volume discount to fill up our landfill? What about when our landfill gets full? Where are we going to go from there? These are serious financial issues that need to be looked at. In addition to that, as far as opening and closing the sales, the new sales, we were told at a candidates meeting that the landfill is set to expire within 70 years. So therefore, we'll have to be looking at additional options. Now, our current county administrator, Mr. Smitherman, says that by then it will be new technology to get rid of trash. I don't know what he's thinking about. I don't know of any new technologies coming down the road. And in 70 years, that'll be my kids and grandkids' responsibility to figure out what to do with the trash. These are serious financial issues, not to mention the casino coming to town. Someone mentioned the casino. If they're going to bring in the spectators and the gamblers and all the people to participate in the casino activities in the same sense that the amphitheater rock festival did, what's to become of all that trash? We don't have answers to those questions. So I'm not sure I would be touting the landfill as a financial success in the county. That's where I'm going to put my focus as a supervisor if elected. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to try again with Daryl Dalton. I see his iPhone listed on here. Mr. Dalton, are you there? Okay. Well, we tried. I'm now going to check to see if Ryland Brumfield has joined us. All right, well, then we're going to move on to Mr. Barksdale again for the Bannister District. Jesse, if you need me to repeat the question, I will. I don't believe that you're one that harped on wasteful spending, but if you believe there is any, could you tell us what that is and how you plan to combat that?
I just have one sentence. I don't think the Board of Supervisors have intentions to spend funds negatively. That's it.
Very succinct. Thank you. We'll now move on to the school board, and it's a completely different question. So all of you from school board, if you didn't like that question, you don't have to worry about it. The question for the school board is, what do you believe is the role of parents in the school system, and what will you do to enhance that role? We will begin in reverse order from last time, beginning in the Dan River District with Kelly Merricks. Kelly, are you there?
I am. I have a very, I guess, opinionated role with parents in the school system. I'm a proud parent of 2 girls, one going to Dan River Middle School and one going to Kentuck Elementary School. And I believe that parents should be involved. Parents should be able to communicate with their schools. Parents should be able to openly communicate with their school board members, as well as during school board meetings, PTOs, athletic booster clubs, anything that can get parents involved. They have a very important decision to make. We know that parents are extremely important in the kids' lives, and they're very outspoken advocates for their children, and they need to be outspoken advocates for their children. And a lot of this comes down from mandating masks. A parent should be able to have that choice in the school system because they know the safety for their own child. It comes down to, if the school system decides to mandate vaccines, a parent has a choice with that because the parent has to be the advocate for the child. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now stay in the Dan River District with Cassandra Crump. Ms. Crump.
Okay, I think parents play a vital part in their child's education. They are their students' first teacher, and they know their children best. And I have felt like over the past 4 years that I've been on the board that their voice is important. One of the ways that we have opened up our division to allow for more parental input in the decisions that we make, we didn't do this 4 years ago, is having an online form. Before, we had situations where parents would come in physically to share their input on certain issues. And sometimes those things were done at times that weren't convenient to parent schedules. But having an online form, we've had a lot more participation in those, a lot more opportunities for parents to share their input and have a voice. And I will continue to work towards looking at additional ways to have parents be able to share their input.
Thank you very much. We'll next move to the Callens-Gretna District, and we'll begin with Jacob Hancock. And I know you've already spoken to this issue in response to the first question, but I'll ask you the same question again, which is, what do you believe is the role of parents in the school system, and what will you do to enhance that role? Make sure that you're not on mute, Mr. Hancock.
Well, I definitely believe that parents need to be more empowered to be involved in their children's education. So I would begin by encouraging them to get involved. And then that would give them the empowerment. But it's important for them to be involved in the education process. And I think it would be helpful to have like a town hall style type of school board meeting or something where parents and citizens can speak without limits, without a time limit, like just more freely. I believe that we need to see more involvement from not only parents though, but from even people without children. I mean, I don't have children myself, and I'm running for school board because I believe that this is important. So I will continue to encourage and empower people to get involved in the education process. So empowering parents to be involved, to be active in their child's education is important. And I think there's a lot of fear. So fear around that. They don't know how to approach the school board. So I think transparency and empowerment is important.
Thank you very much. We'll stay in the Callens-Gretna District with Mr. Doss. Bunky, if you're ready, make sure that you're not on mute and you're free to begin.
You should have me, right? You have me?
I do.
Okay. You know, I've done this a long time. I've been on school board for 18 years, longer than anybody else that's speaking tonight. And I can tell you, involving parents has been very difficult over the years. Parents are busy. A lot of them are working 2 jobs. They try to make ends meet. And it's very difficult to get them into the schools when you have a certain day or a certain time. If anything good has come out of the pandemic, and very little can be said good about it, is that we have now gone, and Ms. Crump talked a lot about it, and I echo her, is we have now gone to social media apps and things like Blackboard or other activities on the internet that allow the parents access to their child's school grades or their teacher. So we're moving forward in the direction of using these social, just like we're doing here with the Zoom meet. We've done a lot of that now with teachers, have done it with parents and all. And it becomes really convenient now that you can take your phone out and talk to a teacher real quick or text them. And that communication today is better than it's been. And I think with the younger generation using the social media as much as they do, I would certainly be in favor of expanding that type of communication with parents, because it is important for parents to be involved in their child's education and their child's life. And you know, when parents get involved and kids get involved in the extracurricular activities and the things that they can do to enhance their life and build their self-esteem and all, it's just really good for the students. So to me, the only good thing out of the pandemic has been we have learned to go to some of these social media apps, and I do believe it has allowed much better access for the parents to communicate with their teachers in the schools. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll next move to the Bannister District and Mr. Ramsey. Make sure that you are not on mute and you may begin.
All right, thank you, sir. And certainly I'm an former educator in Pittsylvania County Schools, and I guess you might say that I'm kind of old school, and I know how that we used to do a lot of going to visit parents and encouraging them to actually be active in the education of their children. And certainly I would do everything, continue to do everything possibly to make sure that parents are involved, because we want them involved. Their input is certainly needed. Their thinking is needed, and their help in supporting the efforts that we're trying to get across in the classroom and in their socialization skills and what have you. And I know I said I'm old school, but I also can appreciate the efforts that are being made through the social media perspective now. And certainly that counts volumes toward allowing everyone to come in. And it's a matter where I know we've got a lot of parents that's had to actually learn how to use the social media in order to communicate and get their points across. But that certainly is a area that we've got to focus on more and do everything we can to possibly get parents involved and to include them on various committees and what have you, for when parents are involved in committees and planning directions that the school system will need to go. That plays a great role when policies are made and whatnot. So we would certainly advocate continuing these kinds of endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you. What we're going to do now is we're going to move to the period where each candidate is allowed 3 minutes to tell the viewers why they believe they should be elected to the position they're seeking. We'll begin with the Board of Supervisors. And during this time, you're allowed to comment on whatever it is that you believe is most important for the voters to know. So we'll begin with the Callens-Gretna District, and we'll begin with Gregory Robinson. Mr. Robinson.
Okay, thank you. So let me just clarify quickly on my last question to kind of echo what Mr. Barksdale said. I'm not remotely accusing anyone of misconduct or trying to suggest there's intentional wasteful spending within the county. I do think there is wasteful spending, but I don't think it's anybody's intentionality to do that. Secondly, so for why do I think I could do a good job as a supervisor? The first and foremost reason is I'm an outsider. I don't have the experience. I haven't been on the board for any amount of time. I've not been involved with the county except when I've had to be. I do not know anybody personally other than a few people, casual acquaintances, I'll say, who work for the county, but I don't have family that works for the county. I don't serve on any capacity in the county. I'm totally coming at this from the angle of an outsider, from one who's trying to learn, but also bring questions. I feel like it's very easy to say, well, I understand how the system works, so thus and thus and thus. Well, that may be true, but we need to question the system. I'm open to any and all, congratulations as well as criticisms. If there's valid criticisms, they need to be addressed and not just shoved off as, quote, we don't understand, unquote. So I think from an outsider's perspective, then I'm going to be unique in the seat of the supervisor and certainly bring a different perspective. Secondly, there's what I'm hearing from my constituents has to do with accountability. A lot of people feel like they were duped by the whole lottery system. I understand that was not to do with the Board of Supervisors or anything like that, but it still left a bad taste in people's mouths as far as leaders and government and so on and so forth. I want to try to change that. Let's hear from the people. Let's hear what the people say. Let's not pass rules and pass laws and raise taxes and so on, just because we have to do this because the county's got to do it. If we do need to raise taxes, if we do need to come up with new taxes, fine, but let's go to the county, let's go to the people and say, okay, people, this is our needs. This is what we have. And this, how do you propose? These are the proposals we have for funding whatever principles or whatever projects we have. If so, what does the public have to say? I want to be a voice for the people, which means all people, not just a select group of people, not just Republicans, not just Democrats, not just independents, but for any party, any person. If you've got a concern, I want to be your rep for Callens and Gretna. So that's the angle that I'm coming at it from. I feel like my experience in management with automotive throughout the years, 20 plus years, as well as academic endeavors and teaching part-time at the community college and pastoring for 10 years. I feel like all of these things mesh together well to serve as a public servant. That's my rationale for running, and that's why I feel like as a voice for the people, I will be a good representative on the Board of Supervisors for Callens Gretna. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll next move to Daryl Dalton. And Daryl, if you're there, please tell the voters why you believe you should be elected to the Callens Gretna District Supervisor position.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Hear me? Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry a while ago about this phone. I didn't have a connection or something. But yes, I feel like I was a employee for the county for 31 years, a little over 31 years. And with that, I had a connection with the day-to-day operations. I worked with our elected officials, our state officials, the county staff. So I knew the county in and out. I know a lot of the procurement laws dealing with budgets and money. Very connected with the public. I work with them every day. I just feel like I can make a big difference. I know when you go from a private sector to local government, it's different. And I've been there, I've done that. And with that, I think I can offer a lot of good advice and recommend a lot of good things for the citizens that'll be a benefit for them in ways of controlling the money, make sure it's spent wisely. Hopefully we can keep the taxes down, have a part of that, and look after our economic development. And we have agriculture, forestry, and our school systems, which is very important. And I know this previous board right now is, present board, excuse me, has signed some agreements on some internet service and extending the broadband, which will be great for everybody, for our school, for our business, and the future families. And I think, like I said, in the end, I think I can make a big difference with the experience that I have working with the county and the people in the county. And for that, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
We'll now move to the Bannister District and Mr. Barksdale. Jesse, why do you believe you should be elected?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Okay. Well, I thank this chamber for giving us an opportunity to talk about issues. In 2011, I was elected to Pittsylvania County Board of Supervisors. I served on the board from 2012 to 2017. I served as chairman in 2014 and 2016. As chairman in 2016, I wanted some training. So I enrolled and completed a full year of the Virginia Association of Counties Supervisors program. And so that training rendered me a certified supervisor. There's only been 2 in Pittsylvania County, and I'm one of those. Thank you.
Thank you, Jesse. We'll now move to the Dan River District, and we'll start with Tim Cheshire. Why do you believe you should be elected?
Well, thank you. I wanted to tell you, thank you very much for having the forum. I've been a resident of the Dan River District for close to, well, actually over 20 years. During that time, I've been privileged to be a firefighter EMT with Ringgold. So I've got to be around a lot of the citizens in our county. I'm just a regular guy. I'm an electrician by trade. And I see things through just a regular guy's eyes. And I want to be able to bring a set of fresh eyes or fresh ideas to the board from the outside. A lot of times the business I'm in, we have what we call a fresh eyes audit. You bring somebody else in and they look at it and they see things that you've missed. And I would like to be that set of fresh eyes that maybe see something that we've missed and maybe we can make better. And I also want to really try to listen to them. And I don't say that just as a cliche, but I was asked to run. I could think about 1,000 other people that are so much more qualified than me. That's not even funny. But I was asked, and I considered it a privilege to be asked. And I want to represent my district well and my county well. And I want to thank everybody for this time.
Thank you very much, Tim. We'll now move to Joe Davis. And Joe, please tell us why you believe you should be reelected.
Well, I agree with Mr. Cheshire. He is a good guy. I knew him back when he was at Goodyear, and I still do. I always liked Tim. He did a good job, I thought, from the maintenance standpoint at Goodyear. And but as far as I am concerned, I have been in management since a teenager. My military, I was in management in the military. I was in management at Dan River Mills. I ran a weave room. I've been in management with church facilities as far as church. And I would like to say that I want to comment on wasteful spending. I apparently overlooked that. I don't believe there's any wasteful spending under my watch at this particular time, just very hurriedly. And 2 things for Mr. Robinson. Sweden has technology today. They're the only ones on this globe that have that. And they're able to take any types of trash, metal, whatever, and make it into biological fuels. Secondly, you have plastics today that they have chemicals, not chemicals necessarily, but viruses and other materials on it that consumes plastic today. So in the future, we do not know where trash is going. And then our trash, we needed to have an asset in the county. So we turned our trash into an asset, and we're accommodating other localities, but we're able through consultants, I'm just answering his question just to fill in, is to lift the caps off for that trash that's already settled after several years, and we're able to repack more on top, buying us time to keep monies in place to open and close the sale. I feel that I have the responsibility, and I don't claim to be the brightest bulb in the box, but I do know how to carry the water for a team that are smarter than I. And I do know those that are moving this county forward. Secondly, thirdly, and fourthly, I do want to mention here, and I'll conclude, is that we had town hall meetings since I've been on this board. It originated in my district. And when taxes go up and we don't know which way to go, we went to all 7 districts for those folk that wanted to get involved and come out and make their complaints to the county administrator, to the board of supervisors, to inform the public. Now, this last town hall meeting we had where no taxes were going to be raised, no one showed up. Maybe two, I will say Dr. Jones showed up. Cassandra Crump, who does a wonderful job, showed up. Those were the only two, and they can verify it in my district. So as far as opening up the doors to get people and citizens involved, the opportunity's been there, but no one showed up. So thank you. I think that the next 4 years for me are going to be exciting because we have new innovation coming, not only new innovation, but we got new prospects for our youth. I'm looking at a water park that we want to put up there on 29. We have a complex softball, football, baseball complex, the basketball, as well as a few other things. That is another thing. I want a library in my district. I'd like a cutting edge technology, cancer research with beds involved out of Liberty. And then lastly, I'd like for our Pittsylvania County to have a university here. And I am told that that's in the works now with Avery. So after that, I'm through. So I feel like I've done my job. So thank you so kindly for listening to me.
Thank you very much. We'll now move to the school board candidates. Again, it's basically just your opportunity to tell us why you believe you should be elected. And we'll begin with the Collins-Gretna district, and we'll start with Mr. Doss.
Okay, thank you. First of all, let me say I'm born and raised here in Gretna. Been here all my life. You got me? Okay. I've served 18 years on the Pittsylvania County School Board. This is my 18th year. 10 of those years I have served as chairman. I'm a life member of the Gretna Volunteer Fire Department. I'm the current president of the Ramsey Memorial Medical Center as a doctor's office on Main Street in Gretna. I'm a former member of the Gretna Town Council, a former member of the Pittsylvania County Service Authority, where I served for 16 years. And I was a member of the Gretna Rescue Squad. I'm retired from Abbott Laboratories after 37 years of service, and I'm a graduate of Gretna High School and attended Danville Community College. I've been married for 43 years. My wife is a graduate of Gretna High School. I have two sons, both graduated from Gretna High School. The first one is a graduate also of Lynchburg Community College. The second one graduated from Danville Community College and then went on to Old Dominion, where he graduated from Old Dominion University. I currently have a grandson who attends Gretna Middle School. And so I have deep roots in the public school system in Pennsylvania County, very deep roots. Prior to the pandemic, during my 18 years, we've had all of our schools accredited. All 18 were accredited. I think that going forward, our challenges are going to be to close the learning gap and to retain good teachers and employees. And I think all of these years of experience makes me the best candidate to lead this division forward. I certainly believe that I have the knowledge and the background to do that. Not to knock my opponent, but he's never been into public schools as a student, didn't go to public schools. And I just don't think that where we at today, we've got to get back to where we were. We've got to get a new normal for public schools. You know, the pandemic taught us that we were not good virtual school teachers. So we've got to get back to whatever the new normal is. And I believe experience I have can help us get back to the full accreditation in the places we need to be and where we have been. And I believe going forward, I'm the best candidate for that position. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll now move to Mr. Hancock for the same opportunity.
Well, I will address that. I have not been into the public schools. I was homeschooled and I went to private school growing up. I graduated high school 11 years ago now. During those 11 years, I've been involved with higher education in some shape or form as a student, a work study, and now as an employee. I also work at a local technical college as an assistant instructor. But I want to say that school boards are probably one of the most important local offices. because they function as a tangible government that concerned citizens and parents can reach when they have a concern about the schools and children. We've seen a lot of concerned citizens realizing this across the country for the last couple of years now. And I'll admit that I did not understand the importance of the school board until about 2 years ago. The decisions these men and women make in their capacity as representatives for parents, teachers, and children impact the direction that our schools take and ultimately the direction that our country is going to take. So I started getting more involved through research and learning more about America's education system. I started listening to what parents and teachers were saying, and even what elected leaders in Richmond and DC were saying. I wanted to learn more because I felt passionate about preserving and protecting the future and the future's children. Now I've stated that I don't have children, but one day I do hope to have children. But right now I want to be a voice for children today and for my future children. Parenthood is such an important role. I remember when I was in second grade at a private school, my teacher put together little boards that was all about us. And one of the questions was, what is your dream job? And while other students were saying they wanted to be a movie star or a firefighter, typical things that little kids want to do, I answered on my own that I wanted to be a Christian father. So now 21 years later, I am running for school board because I recognize how important parental rights are and how important that role as a parent plays in the life of the child. We need to protect these rights and these roles. Over the years, we've seen them stripped away in different countries, and now we're seeing that stripped away. I've said that in our country. But parental rights was why I initially got involved, because I saw what was happening. But there's been a political bias in America's education system for a very long time now. It takes away from the quality of education that children receive. And many people deny that, but I recognize that. People on the board right now, they deny that. I know, but I know that there's some amazing people in our school system. I know them, I work with them. My dad is a public school teacher. But I know that we are all a victim of that radical machine. So if elected, I will listen to the concerned citizens of our great county, and I will offer transparency. I will take a stand against the radical machine for parents, children, and teachers of the county. I hope to be a catalyst to change the direction that we are headed. I will listen and learn and work together with other members, school officials, and most importantly, parents to address issues that our county schools face. Teamwork will be an important aspect moving forward together. I will be a voice for my constituents, for their children, and for future generations. I hope that by me running for school board at 29, that it will inspire and encourage parents and people without kids to get more involved in the education process in America. I'm going to continue to do this through and beyond my campaign. But thank y'all.
Thank you very much. We'll now move to the Bannister District with Mr. Ramsey. So Mr. Ramsey, why do you believe you should be reelected?
All right, thank you. I feel like that I should be reelected to the Bannister District School Board seat because I am a born and bred citizen of Pittsylvania County. I have taught, went to school in the school system. I have taught schools. I've been an administrator in Pittsylvania County schools. And I've also been in the military. I've served 20 years in the military, and which of course affords me a lot of expertise and management skills and what have you. And all during my 4 years, and I'm working on the 4th year now on the board, and it has been my philosophy and my theme was to listen, research, and then act. And I feel like that these three elements are very important to the function of our school system. And you know, a lot of times people want to react before they get all the information, but you know, I want to get as much information as I can on any particular subject before I begin to react. And I've also served as a pastor here in the county for approximately 30 years. And so my whole experience in life has been to work with people. And so even though I retired from the school system, I still felt that calling and that need to continue to work with people. And I found no better area to do it in than in the realm of education, for that there are so many needs there. And so many times people feel like they don't have anybody that will listen to them. And so I like to avail myself to be an ear and an advocate for their concerns. And so therefore we have that to bring to the table, and we would like to continue in that realm. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ramsey. We'll now move to Dan River District and Kelly Merricks. Kelly.
Hi, I'm immensely passionate about education and the importance of community involvement. I taught science for 17 years at Dane River High School. 14 of those years I served as department chair and the science liaison. I also coached varsity volleyball for 3 years. I actively serve on various committees at Kentuck Baptist Church. I coach youth league softball and volleyball within our community as well. My husband, Stephen, and I are both lifelong residents of the Dane River region. We both graduated from Dane River High School, class of '99. I left this area to attend college and returned to teach at Dane River High School. Once a Wildcat, always a Wildcat. We are blessed with 2 daughters who attend Pittsylvania County schools. One attends Dane River Middle and one attends Kentuck Elementary. To say that I have a true vested interest in wanting to see Pittsylvania County schools succeed would be a vast understatement. My decision to run for school board was fueled by several factors, nationally and locally. Across the country, we have witnessed many polarized school board meetings. In these meetings, controversial topics, including mask mandates, mandatory COVID vaccinations, and other drastic curriculum changes such as critical race theory and political indoctrination, have been discussed and or adopted. It has always been my belief that politics have no place in education. It should be the goal of every school board member to present and adopt curriculums that are not politically motivated. Teachers, when given the proper resources, will be able to cultivate independent thinkers. Although the state of Virginia issued a mask mandate for all K-12 students, locally, Pittsylvania County School Board chose not to allow parents to have a choice with regard to masking their children. After attending several school board meetings, it seems very little consideration is given to public input. It is important to support the law. However, many laws are oftentimes passed without forethought or of unintended consequences. It is imperative the spirit of the law is understood as well as the letter of the law. My top priorities as a school board representative are, as I mentioned earlier, teacher staff, retention, morale, and support. The teachers and staff must feel valued, supported, and appreciated for students to receive a quality, well-rounded education. I also believe there should be equity in schools. All students should receive the resources he or she needs to become successful. Classes and assignments must be differentiated to accommodate all learners. This is advanced placement learners, English as a second language learners, as well as special education. All schools in the district should offer classes that support lifelong learning and success in our community. Communication and parent involvement is important. Every individual has the right to easily access information. Utilizing resources such as social media and school messenger, school board members, central office staff, and school administrators all can keep parents involved of current topics. I would encourage parents and taxpaying citizens to speak and help offer solutions. Collaboration and open communication is key. And safety, both physical and mental. Students and staff must feel safe in the school system. Reevaluate the current protocol and make sure everything in our power is being done. This is not a time to be complacent. The vision of Pittsylvania County Schools is to be recognized as having an innovative, challenging, and exemplary school system. The last 18 months has demonstrated how innovative our teachers and staff are. If elected, I plan to be a vocal advocate for our students, teachers, parents, and taxpaying citizens of the Dan River District, making Pittsylvania County Schools a challenging and exemplary experience. I hope I have earned your support for making decisions in the best interest of the students, not the adults. I also encourage you to vote yes for the 1% sales tax for Pittsylvania County to help the Pittsylvania County Schools. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. We will now move to Cassandra Crump. Ms. Crump, why should you be reelected?
Okay. I am a 20-year teacher in Halifax County. I've often been asked why I don't teach in Pittsylvania County. The Code of Virginia does not allow an individual to work as a teacher in Pittsylvania County and serve on its school board. Therefore, I believe I have a unique opportunity to bless multiple students. It was my desire to fulfill what I believe was my calling that led me to pursue what I think is an honorable profession, and that's teaching. I have a Bachelor of Science degree from the University of North Carolina at Greensboro in the education of deaf children, and a Master of Science degree from Radford University in special education. The nature of my job requires that I work collaboratively with different professionals. I've brought this type of collaboration to my work on the board, and our current board has faced many challenges over the past 19 months. Yet, by working collaboratively, we've led our division through one of the most difficult seasons up to this very moment, and I believe the best is yet to come. My particular teaching certification is pre-K through 12th grade. This means I've worked with students at every level, preschool, elementary, middle, and high school. This speaks to my ability to both relate to and understand a range of student needs, which I believe has been an asset for Pittsylvania County Schools. I've spent the last 4 years on the board serving the students, parents, and members of our community. I've sat down to have multiple conversations with community leaders to share what's going on in our division and to listen as they've shared their thoughts with me. I believe that no one has all the answers. It's been through these conversations that I've been able to share back with our staff from the community's perspective, which they've appreciated. I've also been a part of the budget committee for several years and an advocate for requesting the funds needed to complete our compensation study, as well as to provide steps for our teachers. We have staff members who have been waiting for the completion of the compensation study for some time, and they've reached out to share how its completion this year has been life-changing for them and their families. I know firsthand how important the job of a teacher is, the amount of hard work and dedication that each of our staff members have to put in each day. Education is a team effort. Each year during American Education Week and Teacher Appreciation Week, I take time to recognize all of the staff in the schools in the Dan River District. In doing so, I've been able to both support local businesses and recognize our staff at the same time. While I know compensation is important, sometimes a simple act of kindness and a thank you is both needed and appreciated. And many of our staff members have reached out over the past 4 years to share their appreciation. During my time on the board, as I mentioned, I've tried to help identify ways for parents, staff, and the community to provide input. And we've moved to using online forms to do this. And I don't mind asking questions. And this is just one example of how just simply asking questions has helped us as a division to think differently and to work to benefit our students, parents, and community. I also don't hesitate to reach out to share our needs of our division. I believe that our local and state officials need to understand our needs in order to support what we're doing in Pittsylvania County Schools. I believe that my time that I've spent on the board has made Pittsylvania County Schools a better place to learn and work. And I look forward to continuing to serve the citizens and being a part of helping Pittsylvania County Schools grow. And thank you, and thanks to the Chamber for giving us this opportunity to share with you all tonight.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. I want to thank all of our candidates that are out there, and I thank you so much for your preparation for tonight. And I think you all did very well to explain to the voters out there who you are and what the issues are important to you. I want to remind all the viewers that are out there that answers to printed questions will be available on the chamber website. This Zoom session has been recorded, and it also will be on the chamber website, and it has been live streamed on Facebook as well. I wish all of you a pleasant night and good luck in November as the voters submit their ballots. Good night, and thank you again. Bye-bye.
Good night, and thank
Thank
you
you.
all.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.